more. Drive forever. Apply now. For more information, call us on or SMS us on 0755 386 594 or 0753 915 354, or you can email us on camelcollege@gmail.com, or also you can visit our offices at Kiogoro, which is 5 kilometers from Kisii town along Kisii-Kilgoris Road. Camel Park Driving School, shaping dreams on the wheels.
Good morning, and wherever you are watching us from, our fan of Ndizi TV Africa, welcome to our morning show here. That is the Morning Buzz from Ndizi TV Africa, coming you live from our studios here. And of course, we are live on our social media platforms. And of course, it is 24th of February 2026. And here we are going to inform you what has been trending, what has been happening since yesterday, and of course, what is ongoing. And this is your hub where you are going to get all those stories. And of course, as we all know, yesterday the United Opposition started their 3-day tour. And yesterday being day 1 to Gusii Land and Nyamira County, or the Gusii region, that is starting from Nyamira County and Kisii counties. Today will be the day 2, and of course there's a lot of events that happened. Yesterday we saw the fights over the streets of Kisii town and of course Keroka town, as well as the entrance of the United Opposition led by the Deputy Party Leader for Jubilee, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, who is also the presidential candidate for Jubilee Party. And with him, there were the DCP Party Leader, Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper Patriotic Front, we had Eugene Wamalwa, and of course we had the Trans Nzoia Governor, George Natembeya, among other leaders that were in the tour over 3 days. Today, being a Tuesday, of course, we are expecting to see what they are going to also do on getting round of Kisii County. And of course, starting from Nyamira town all through to Marani, Nyakoe, Suneka, and of course to South Mugrango. And there is a lot that happened yesterday, and we are going to unpack it one by one. And yesterday, there was a coronation of Dr. Fred Matiang'i as the spokesperson of the Gusii region, and of course, or the community of Omo Gusii. There's a lot that has been discussed online, and of course, there's a lot that has been trending, asking questions: who has been before the coronation of Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i as the spokesperson of this community? Who has been there before? And of course, what has happened, and why was this happening? And of course, for those who are doubting, it is the picking of somebody who can be able to speak on behalf of the community. And we saw the Gusii Council of Elders who are there doing it at Ekerenyo grounds. And of course, we'll be informing you and giving you more details on what happened. But before we get there, first of all, let's have a look at the newspapers this morning. And of course, the headline making newspapers this morning. And my name is Jeff Nyakundi. My director is Lucas Oma. You can follow us on our social media platforms as Ndizi TV Africa, on Facebook and YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X as Ndizi TV Africa. And of course, you can send your SMS to 21575. That's where we can be able to have a read through and of course give the shout out to you. And as you know all that every day we start from the Standard newspaper, thereafter the Daily Nation, People's Daily, Taifa Leo, and People, that is Business Daily. And we start from the Standard newspaper, and here they're talking about the shameless cabinet secretaries, the partisan talking about mining Cabinet Secretary Hassan Joho and his energy counterpart Opiyo Wandayi in action at ODM rallies over the weekend would have easily been mistaken or ODM youth wingers. That was 2 days after Treasury CS John Mbadi hosted Luo elders at the ministry's boardroom and discussed ODM affairs. They are not alone. Some of these administration's CSs consistently flout sections of the Leadership and Integrity Act on political neutrality, exploit a thin line between publicizing government policies and hot politics, and end up turning the spirit of the law into a joke. That is a story published on page 6 and of course page 7. What we saw is that last week, of course, we saw CS John Mbadi having the Luo community or the Luo elders at his ministry office, and of course there is a lot that were discussed, and his ambition seeing to be eyeing the 2032 presidency candidate. And of course, being to be coronated as the spokesperson of the Luo community. And before then, we had Raila Amolo Odinga, but it has not confirmed whether he will be coronated to be the spokesperson of the Luo community. And we have seen all these CSs that were the three of them, apart from Geoffrey Luku, who happens to come from the Kenya Kwanza, but the three of them, Al Hassan Joho of mining, Opiyo Wandayi energy, and of course John Mbadi treasury. These are the duo that were given from the ODM party to help President William Ruto do the work. And of course, they have been seen to be running politics. And of course, the constitution of Kenya does not allow the CSS to engage directly into politics, but what we are seeing is that they are into it. Of course, Opiyo Wandayi and Energy CS Al Hassan Joho, we saw them taking action in ODM rallies, and of course over the weekend that was seen to be, as they were seen to be the youthful in that rally. And of course we saw Mbadi with the Luo elders in his ministry boardroom. And we saw Geoffrey Luku, who has been recently talking about and dismissing the claims of ODM party leader Oburu Odinga for still mentioning that they are eyeing for the deputy president's seat, and of course saying that already that seat has someone who is occupying it unless they wait until 2032. That is what he mentioned. And of course, they have been seen to be tackling politics more than what they're supposed to do in office. Elsewhere, is the picture we are seeing of the united opposition storms Gusiland. And of course, that is one of the photos that was taken during the rally that happened yesterday. So the tour of 3 days, of course, Monday, yesterday being day one. And we saw them going around in Gusii region. They started their journey from Bomet actually, all the way to Kaplong. Then they went directly to Ekerenyo, and in Ekerenyo, that is where the Council of Elders from the Gusiland, of course, coronated the former Cabinet Secretary Interior, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, as the spokesperson for Omo-Gusii community. Later on, they proceeded to Keroka, and after from Keroka, Keumbu, then from Keumbu to Kisii town, and lastly, they did their a stopover at Gusii Stadium, where they had, of course, they addressed their supporters, and of course, they ended day one there. And of course, day two, starting today, we saw that it will be starting from Nyamira all the way to Marani, from Marani then to Nyakoe, from Nyakoe to other regions, and ending it in South Mugrango. And there's a lot that is in Nyamarambe area in South Mugrango. There's a lot that we are going to follow up, of course, today, but that is a story also published on that is on the Standard newspaper. You can have a close look at it, and of course, try to know exactly what happened yesterday. And let's move on as we look at the Daily Nation newspaper. The Daily Nation newspaper here is a question linking to the Kenyan health, and here is the question: what is killing Kenyans? Ni nini inawaua wa Kenya? Unhealthy mix inside the diseases and system failure driving preventable deaths. And of course, from the data that has been shown here is that there is a lot that has been going on, more so in the non-communicable diseases, and of course the infectious diseases. Talking about NCDs, including heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and mental health conditions, now account for nearly 40% of all deaths in Kenya. And when we talk about infectious diseases like malaria, TB, and HIV/AIDS, also continue to take to take a toll on families. Talking about the data that has been given out here is that with the population of 4 million Kenyans, require maybe we have a look at it better, that is push it a little bit up so that we can have a clear look at it, and of course know exactly. Talking about 48 million Kenyan population require almost 37,392 doctors. That is, the current figure is 4,227. And in the same the 48 million Kenyans require almost 281,472 nurses. Currently, there are 48,672 presently. And to plug the shortage of medics every year, Kenya needs to add 3,800 doctors and 20,000 nurses for them to bridge the gap. And from the year 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020, 2023, we have been seeing that when old killers meet new ones, percentage of deaths from infectious diseases versus the percentage of deaths from non-communicable diseases, NCDs. And of course, we can be able to see there that infectious diseases, in 1990 they were 75%, and then the NCDs were at 15%. In the year 2000, 65%, that is the infectious diseases, and of course the NCDs were at 22%. And 2010, the infectious diseases, the percentage decreased to 55%, then the NCDs increased to 30%, and then 2020 the infectious diseases decreased to 45%, and of course the NCDs increased to 37%, and now 2023 they tied 40% infectious diseases and NCDs at 40%. And what we are seeing is that In 1990, one hospital bed serving 7,500 people. In 2023, one hospital bed serving 10,000 people. What is not happening? Is it that the Ministry of Health and of course the government has not done exactly? If you look at when the time is currently moving, when you look at in the year 1990, one bed or one hospital bed was serving up to 7,500 people. But currently, where we are supposed to increase the number of beds in hospital, but in 2023, one hospital bed was serving 10,000 plus people. So we move on, is that maybe now we see exactly what they're saying here, that it is a crisis. Kenya's 2025 population situation analysis report, a comprehensive assessment on the nation's healthy and demographic landscape, paints a troubling picture. That is Kenyans, talking about Kenyans are living longer, with life expectancy climbing to nearly 67-year-old, of course, years, but the journey to old age is increasing, plagued by the preventive diseases. Chronic illness now account for 40% of all deaths in the country. And of course, the health system is stretched with scarce resources. That is a story published on the Healthy Nation magazine. That is a Nation magazine that is on this newspaper. That is the Daily Nation. Elsewhere, talking about women, appeal for surplus maize from North Rift to feed starving Kenyans. Of course, the Kenya Red Cross Society has asked farmers in Uasin Gishu County and Trans Nzoia counties to donate surplus maize to famine-stricken Kenyans. The aid agency has offered to transport and distribute the relief aid. That's a story published on page 19. Accountability, talking about the accountability and appealing on the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate. Yesterday we saw Wamatangi appearing before the Senate despite governor's defiance. Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi is the third county boss to break ranks with the Council of Governors over appearance before the Senate Watchdog Committee. That is a story published on page 6. And of course, this happened when the time that the Council of Governors relented not to appear before the Senate, that is the Public Accounts Committee, due to the allegations that they are being mistreated. But since then, Wamatangi is being the third governor to defy their request, and of course appearing before the council, of course before the Senate committee, the Watchdog Committee. That is a story published on page 6 of this newspaper. And of course, elsewhere, on top of the Daily Nation, is that the opposition steps up pressure on Kenya Kwanza in Gusii tour. On top of this newspaper is that opposition steps up pressure on Kenya Kwanza in Gusii tour. And the United Opposition leaders swept through Bomet, Kisii, and Nyamira counties yesterday, telling President Ruto to read the warning signs that his time in presidency was up. Party chiefs Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, and Fred Matiang'i asked Rift Valley and Nyanza residents to park their cars. That is a story published on page 4. And of course, what we are seeing there, a picture, is a moment at Ekerenyo after Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i was coronated to be the spokesperson of the Omogusi community. And of course, those are some of the stories published on the Daily Nation newspaper. Let's have a close look at the People's Daily. And the People's Daily, they're saying about, or they're talking about disruptor effect reshaping Kenyan's 2027 political landscape. A story published on page 4 of the People's Daily. And of course, there is that what we are seeing is Edwin Sifuna and the team, and of course, being cheered by their supporters. And that is a story published on page 4 of the People's Daily. And there they're saying about Isis Ndio Sifuna. That is what has been published there. Elsewhere, other stories that have been published on page 6 is that cabinet secretaries and politics. Why does executive fail neutrality test? That is a story published on page 6, and of course it's something that also we saw on the Standard newspaper, talking about the neutrality in is failing in the executive. More so, the CSs who are now serving as the campaigners of either the government or those criticizing the government. And what we have seen, of course, CS Treasury John Mbadi, Ali Hassan Joe of mining, and of course Energy CS Opio Wandai, and Geoffrey Luku of public service. They have been seen to be not adhering to the law as per the constitution, to be neutral when it comes to politics, but they are into it with a lot of energy. That is a story published on page 6. Also on page 5, inside prisons department land scandal. That is a story published on page 5 of the People's Daily, talking about what is happening in the prisons department's land scandal. A story published on page 5 of the People's Daily. Elsewhere, on our second last newspaper is the Taifa Leo. Of course, Taifa Leo, what is there? Let's have a look at it. Taifa Leo is talking about upinzani mawindoni Gusii. Vinara wa upinzani katika wakati kambi ama vinara wa upinzani wakita kambi Gusii kuimarisha ufuasi, wakiahidi kushirikiana kwa nia ya kumlemea Ruto mwaka 2027. Ni mkakati katika siku ya kwanza ya msururu wa siara ya upinzani, Matiang'i akitawazwa mzee na msemaji wa jamii ya Gusii. Msafara huo ulijumuisha kinara wa DCP Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka wa Wiper, Gavana George Natembeya, Eugene Wamalwa wa DAP-K na Peter Munya wa PNU. Taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa kwa kina zaidi katika ukurasa wa pili, na picha ambayo tunaiona pale, hii ni baada ya huyu Daktari Fred Okengo Matiang'i kutawazwa kama mzee na msemaji wa jamii ya Gusii pale Ekerenyo, swala ambalo lilifanyika pale Ekerenyo. Na vidokezo zaidi ni kwamba magavana na maseneta wazozana. Maseneta watishia kususia kikao baina yao na magavana Alhamisi, huku tofauti zikizidi. Ukurasa wa 3, taarifa hizo zimechapishwa pale, na hau ni kile ambacho kinatajwa kwamba kumekuwa na sintofahamu na machukizo kati ya viongozi hao wawili, wale maseneta na pia magavana, huku maseneta wakitaja kwamba hao magavana si watu wa kuwajibika haswa kwa fedha ambazo wamepewa katika kaunti, na magavana na wao wakisusia wakisema kwamba wanateswa ama wanakereketwa pale seneti wakati wanafika mbele kujieleza namna ambavyo wametumia pesa, huku wengine wakitaja kwamba wanaombwa hongo ili waweze kupelekwa kwa njia ambayo ni mzuri kidogo katika kambi ile, ama wakati wanafika mbele ya kikao kile cha seneti pale, hasa kuangazia jinsi ambavyo wametumia pesa zao. Ni taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa 3, huku wakisema sasa magavana na maseneta sasa wazozana, huku maseneta wakitishia kususia kikao baina yao na magavana Alhamisi wiki hii, huku tofauti zikizidi. Na ukurasa wa ngapi huu? Ukurasa wa 3. Kindiki ahimiza amani, mkazi akiuawa Mbeere. Wafuasi wa DEP adungwa kisu hadi kufa wadi ya Muminji. Chaguzi za wadi zikitarajiwa Alhamisi wiki hii, kwa kwamba kuna uchaguzi mdogo utakuwa unafanyika baadhi ya wadi ambazo zimepoteza wawakilishi wadi wao, ama wengine wakaondolewa mamlakani kwa kesi ambazo kwa zimefikishwa mahakamani na wengine kujiuzulu. Lakini pale eneo la Mbeere ni kwamba kuna mfuasi mmoja wa DEP akidungwa kisu hadi kufa, katika wadi hiyo ya Muminji, huku chaguzi za wadi zikitarajiwa Alhamisi hii. Kindiki akihimiza amani katika eneo hilo la Mbeere. Na ukurasa wa pili ni kwamba zogo la hospitali ya War Memorial latesa wagonjwa. Hospitali hiyo ilifungwa mnamo mwaka 2024 kutokana na mzozo wa umiliki baina yake na kaunti ya Nakuru. Taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa pili pale, tukiona ni baadhi ya wakaazi ambao walikuwa wamefanya maandamano kulalamikia kuteswa kwao na kuendelea kufungwa kwa hospitali hiyo, kile ambacho kinaonekana kwamba kimewanyima nafasi yao kupata matibabu katika hospitali hiyo ya War Memorial. Upande wa juu katika gazeti hili la Taifa Leo ni kwamba koti yaomba bunge libadili sheria ya urithi. Mahakama yasema sheria ya zamani imekuwa ikibagua wajane wanaoamua kuolewa upya. Taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa pili. Sasa koti ikiomba wabunge waweze kubadilisha sheria ya urithi ili kuwapa nafasi wajane hasa wakitaka kuolewa tena na kwingineko, basi waweza kufanya hivyo, kwa sababu sheria ya zamani inaonekana kwamba inawabagua zaidi wachane wanaoamua kuolewa upya. Taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ukurasa wa pili. PSG huanza kummezea mate Haaland. Pata uhondo zaidi wa spoti kama vile udaku, ratiba na matokeo ya mechi. Taarifa ambazo zimechapishwa katika ile pullout ya Mwanaspoti kuanzia ukurasa wa 13 hadi ukurasa wa 20. Basi hiyo ikiwa kwamba PSG wakionekana kwamba wanataka sana huyu mchezaji wa timu ya Manchester City ambaye anajulikana kama Haaland, pale wakisema kwamba huenda wakamtua pale, wanasema kwamba Etihad Stadium ili aweze kuelekea katika timu ile ya PSG pale, na baadaye nitakuwa nikikuchuza jinsi ambavyo mpira wa jana tulikuwa fixtures ambazo mpira ulikuwa unachezwa jana kati ya Manchester United na bila shaka na timu ile ya Everton. Nitakuwa nikikufahamisha ni kipi kile ambacho kiliendelea, lakini ni kwamba wale majamaa wa mashetani wanajiita mashetani mekundu walipata ushindi wa bao 1-0. Lakini kelele ambayo imepigwa katika mitandao bwana unaweza dhani walipiga mtu 4-0, lakini kwa wafuasi na wapenda mpira hivyo ndivyo hali inakuanga. Uwezi lazima usisimuke kidogo, ufurahie kidogo hapa na pale, ndipo uonekana kwamba mambo yote yapo sambamba. Hiyo ni hali ya kuwa mfuasi wa timu fulani na ukiipigia upato kamili. Na tunapoendelea kusonga mbele, let's have a look at our last newspaper, that is the Business Daily. And here the Business Daily is talking about Eurobond buyback deal cost taxpayers 7.3 billion. Kenya offers 4.1 billion discount for Friday debt, that is for Friday debt sales. Investors grab 3.2 billion premium for area returns of bonds. And here they're talking about the debt. The taxpayers have incurred a cost of 7.3 billion as an incentive offered to investors for earlier buyback of two existing Eurobonds and issuance of longer-term replacement bonds. To fund it, the incentives are a price discount to investors who bought the country's $2.25 billion US dollars, that is equivalent to 290.3 billion bond last week, and a premium offered in the buyback of 500 million US dollars, that is 64.5 billion from from owners of the debt. Kenya will receive 4.1 billion less on the 290.3 billion following the discount offered to investors who had sought higher returns for the Eurobond. And of course here we are being seen on, of course, what they are going to receive, and of course the 3.2 billion for giving up to 2 existing bonds, with one of 350 million US dollars, that is equivalent to 45.2 billion, due in 2032, and another one of 150 million US dollars, that is equivalent to 19.4 billion, maturing in 2028. And of course the photo you're seeing there is of that of the Treasury CS John Mbadi, giving more explanations. And a little bit down, we are being seen the transport, of course, saying that the state takes on Uber, Bolt with own JKIA tax heading up. And of course, talking about the transport, and that's a story published by John. That is a story published by John Musahu, talking about Kenyan's airport manager. Is set to deploy an own-branded taxi hailing up for Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, eyeing a share of the local passenger traffic dominated by Uber and Bolt. The Kenya Airports Authority has advertised tenders from technology firms to design and develop and manage a mobile and web-based taxi dispatch platform for licensed airport taxi under public-private partnership model. And of course the KIA branded the mobile app target facing out drivers operating yellow taxi cabs under the PPP model. The selected technology firm will build and operate the system and share a percentage of passengers fare with the KIA. Monthly tenders procurements seen by the Business Daily show that the overall objective is to design, develop, and of course deploy and support an official JKIA Airport, the digital app, initially focused on regulated taxi booking and of course ground transport management, and architected as a modular, extensible platform capable for supporting multiple airport, commercial, and operational services. And of course, that is one of the way JKIA is trying to create his own brand of transport. And of course, they have called for those who are the designers to design an app that will be used for the same. Elsewhere, let's have a look at the tickers. What is on the ticker side is that U.S. investor sues city developer over poached off plan deal. An American investor has sued a Nairobi property developer over 225 million shillings off plan deal, alleging unfair termination after paying for 7 units. That's a story published on page 4. Nedbank guaranteed controlling 51.17% stake in NCBA. South African Nedbank is guaranteed a controlling stake in NCBA Group after receiving additional acceptances from top shareholders, also published on page 6 of these people or the Business Daily. Let's look at the top of this story, that is talking about intelligence, page 9. Of course, investors must adopt strategic patience, cultivate local partnership, and of course remain flexible in their approach. That is a story published on page 9. Elsewhere on the market data, still the exchange rate still remaining to be that is on 20th, and of course on 20th on Friday, and of course yesterday 23rd, still remaining at 129.02, and of course the exchange rate is 0.00%. and talking about it's still the US dollar, that is the shilling to USD, it's still remaining at that, or the exchange rate remaining at that. And of course, talking about life on page 19, Kenyan sisters who chose a quiet life in rural Philippines. That is a story of Kenyan sisters who chose to live in Philippines. That is a story published on page 19 of the Business Daily. And that is some of the headlines on the local dailies. Of course, we have seen from the Standard newspaper saying that the shameless CSS, that is John Mbadi, Hale Hassan Joho of mining, and of Pio Wandai of energy, not forgetting Geoffrey Luke Bureau of Public Service. And elsewhere, we saw again on the same the Standard Group or the Standard newspaper, the United Opposition, they stormed the Gusiland. The Daily Nation, what is killing Kenyans? And of course, the data that has been given out. So the Health Nation magazine, that's a poll out there talking about the Kenyan 2025 population situation, the analysis report that has been given out. And of course, the opposition set up pressure on Kenyan Kwanza in Gusii tour. Elsewhere, on the People's Daily, we saw that the disruptor effect reshaping Kenyan's 2027 political landscape. And of course, from the other side, on page 5 of the same People's Daily, we saw that cabinet secretaries and politics. Why does the executive fail neutrality test? And Taifa Leo, we saw upinzani mawindoni Gusii. And of course, Kindiki haimiza amani eneo lile la Mbeere na zogo la hospitali ya War Memorial la teza wagonjwa. Some of the stories. And as I already mentioned that later on we'll be having a look at the sports and of course see what exactly was happening or what exactly happened on since the weekend and who won what. Of course, yesterday Manchester United won against Everton 1-0, and as I mentioned, of course, they have been making a lot of noise on social media. Mwaso yule jamaa wa Urban Blaze Aleka has been making a lot of noise. Imagine Alex calling me at 2 a.m. only to tell me that they won. And I thought that they won around maybe 6-0, but they only won 1-0. And of course, they are number 4 now with the 48 points after their win yesterday. And still Arsenal is leading the league with at least... actually with at least 50 with at least actually Arsenal is leading the league with 61 points, followed by Manchester City with 56, Aston Villa following the third with 51, Manchester United 48 points, and of course Chelsea being number 5 with 45 points there. And of course, those are the best 5 EPL teams. And of course, Arsenal pale kileleni ahead with the more 5 points ahead. And we are expecting that the games that are coming, we are going to win. And of course, this is our season, as we have been saying before. As we move on, let's take a quick break. After that, we'll be having a look at the trending stories from our region and of course what happened yesterday, and to look at some of the clips and what transpired yesterday during the United Opposition visits. And of course, there are some clips we have been seeing online that the office of the county governor of Kisii, so the walkways, that is the corridors, were set on fire yesterday, and of course by unknown people. We have been told that the investigations are ongoing by the investigative agencies, that is police officers from Kisii Central Police Station, trying to know exactly what happened and who touched the carpet. And of course, from the look of the pictures we have been seeing, you can see that that carpet was sprinkled by some oil or some kerosene or whatever before it was being lynched, but it was not that bad of maybe haikuchomeka vibaya vile, lakini imewasha moto tu kulingana na picha ambazo tumekuwa tukiziona katika mitandao na zile ambazo zimekuwa zikitumwa hapa na pale. Tupate mapumziko mafupi. I will be back, and of course we look at more stories here at Ndizi TV Africa. Don't go too far. You can also be following us on our social media platforms as Ndizi TV Africa. I'm Jeff Nyakundi. I will be back in a few minutes.
Je, wewe ni mmiliki wa aina ya gari aina ya Alto, Probox, Harrier, V8 na Lexus? Jipatie brake pads kwa bei nafuu hivi sasa. Vilevile oil filters kwa gari aina ya Toyota na vilevile Subaru. Ili upokee popote ulipo, piga simu kupitia nambari 0739318606. Mteja mpendwa, ni wakati sasa wa kujinyakulia aina ya flash disk kuanzia 8GB, 16GB na vilevile 32GB. Vilevile earphones, wireless headsets, unajipatia wireless microphones tofauti kwa bei nafuu. Yale ambayo unafaa kuyafanya hivi sasa ni kwamba unapiga simu kupitia nambari 0739318606. Yote unayapata kwa bei nafuu popote ulipo.
Naam, ni wakati wa kusikiza sauti inayobeba maono, busara na hali halisi ya kisiasa humu nchini. Karibu katika kipindi Sauti ya Uongozi. Hapa tutakuwa tunazungumza na viongozi kujieleza katika hali halisi ya yale ambayo waliahidi kuyafanya, na bila shaka kukupa wewe mtazamaji nafasi ya kuzungumza kama mwananchi wa kawaida kwa yale ambayo waliahidi kuyafanya katika maendeleo humu nchini.
But after making the payment, they delete it. Now, what kind of accounting is that? Because you are supposed to maintain the details of whoever you paid so that the figures can balance.
Watu ambao wanafanyiwa sio kwamba ni wale wananchi wote ambao wako pale wanafanyiwa ile funding, ni makundi haswa. Na zile pesa kufika katika makundi ikamfikia mwananchi yule ambaye alikuwa anachangiwa akapata kiasi kidogo cha pesa. Ina maana kule kuzurula, ule msururu wa kuzunguka inakuwa ni kama ni null and void kwa mwananchi, anaiona kwamba analagaiwa.
If you graduated in 2016 and somebody graduated in 2020, the 2016 was to be given priority to get that job. But nowadays, members of parliament have taken over. They get the letters, they dish them in funerals, others they sell them to the highest bidder.
Kila wiki tutakuletea mahojiano ya kina na viongozi kutoka sekta mbalimbali na jamii kwa ujumla. Je, unajiuliza maswali ni kipi ambacho kinajiri nyuma ya pasia la uongozi? Basi hapa ndipo unapaswa kukaa mkao wa kutazama na kusikiza. Usikose Sauti ya Uongozi kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1 jioni hadi saa 3 jioni ndani ya Ndizi TV Africa, nami Jeff Nyakundi. Sauti ya Uongozi. Tunazungumza, tunajenga, tunabadilika.
Each one of us, there is a dream. The challenge is how to achieve it. This journey will take inspiration, constant motivation, proper supervision, and strong connections. At Kamal Park Training College, we know what makes your dreams come true. Now, all we need to begin in this journey is you. Enroll today in a variety of courses. Choose Kamal Park Training College.
Steer your future in the right direction. Safe driving starts here. Camel Park Driving School, now ready to quench your driving thirst. We offer NTSA certified driving lessons for upgrading, beginners, and refreshers. Our team of qualified instructors deliver content for the following classes: A1, A2, B1, B2, C, C1 and C2, D1 and the rest. We train learners with modern vehicles which fit the evolving digital world. Why choose Camel Park Driving School? We are situated within a serene environment which offers a humble space of study. Our classes are fitted with advanced materials which supports learning. Other benefits are flexible class schedule, pocket-friendly fees, proper theory and practical guide, annual operation and additional computer packages training. Spend less, learn more. Drive forever. Apply now. For more information, call us on or SMS us on 0755 386 594 or 0753 915 354, or you can email us on camelcollege@gmail.com, or also you can visit our offices at Kiogoro, which is 5 kilometers from Kisii town along Kisii-Kilgoris Road. Camel Park Driving School, shaping dreams on the wheels.
Welcome back again. Being a Tuesday, of course, we are moving on swiftly here at Ndizi TV Africa, and the program on here is Morning Bus by Jeff Nyakundi, and of course my director is Lucas Ouma, and it's exactly 8 a.m. That is East African time. And of course, as we move on now, this segment looking at the trending stories from our region, and of course what has been happening, that is after we got time to go through the newspapers this morning. And we start our trending story from Migori County, where the transport and business activities in Migori town were brought to standstill after a section of pedestrian footbridge and part of the main Migori bridge collapsed. The damaged structure linked Suna East constituency and Suna West constituency along the Migori-Kisii highway. The incident has severely disrupted the movement of vehicles and pedestrians, forcing traders to suspend their business as access to the town center remained cut off. Police officers have been deployed to secure the area and manage traffic, while authorities assess the extent of the damage and work to restore the normal operations. Let's have a look on what happened and, of course, the collapse of that bridge. From the same Migori County, talking about the rain season that has started this earlier, is that small-scale traders operating along the banks of River Migori are counting millions of shillings in losses after the river burst its banks following a heavy downpour last night. And of course, the flash floods swept away goods, destroyed merchandise, and left several businesses stall submerged. Some traders watched helplessly as their stock was carried off by the raging waters, while others were unable to access their premises due to the flooding. The affected traders are now urging the Migori County government to relocate them to the newly constructed market, saying the move would protect them from recurring flood disasters. Let's have a look at it.
Livelihood comes from. Hapa ndiye mali tunatengeneza masanduku. Majeneza vile tulikuja saa 1:30 tumeng'ang'ana, lakini tumepata kama zingine zimesombwa na maji. Hasara yenye nimecounter right now ni almost over 200,000.
Tools zangu zote za biashara zimeenda na maji. Zimeloana yote, kokoto tipa 2 na mchanga tipa 3, wheelbarrow 6 na koreo 7. Zizo zimeenda yote na mawe zote tipa 3 zimeenda. Na sasa nimeshangaa sana, nitafanyaje? Watoto ninao wahitima wanasoma.
Tumepata hasara sana nyingi, vitu zetu zimeharibika, manyumba zimejaa. Ona sasa hizi biashara, vitu zingine zimeenda na maji. Sasa sewage system imezibika, kuna vile maji inaweza kukimbia vizuri. Tumepata hasara, vitu zote zimeenda pale kwa hoteli, chakula imeenda, tuko na loans, tuko na watoto wenye tunapeleka shuleni. Sasa tumepata hasara mingi sana. Serikali aone vile wanataka kusaidia. Governor atusaidie, mbunge wa hapa MCA atusaidie, akuje aone vile tumeteseka leo, hakuna biashara.
Kutusaidia. Watu wenye wanauza katikati ya barabara wana wamekosa mahali na soko imeisha tayari, imekamilika. Tungeomba government ya county ili tusaidie, wafungue hiyo soko, watu wapate kusaidika. Hii wakati wa mvua wapate kusaidika, soko ifunguliwe, wengine waingie huko ndani.
Kama serikali inaweza maliza hiyo soko, alafu watu waingie ndani, cause hapa nje mahali watu wanakaa saizi haikaliki juu ya hii weather. Sasa kama hii soko inaweza isha, venye tulishasikia pesa yake inaweza toka anytime. Sasa kama inaweza isha, wamama waingie ndani, wasikuwe na shida kama hii tena.
Na tunaomba serikali ya county government yenye imehusika itusaidie wafanyabiashara, itusaidie ione vile tunaweza fidiwa ili tuendeleze biashara zetu.
Serikali itasaidia, haswa county government of Migori, and of course led by Ochiro Ayako and other leaders will ensure that those traders, at least they get a place where they can be able to be doing their businesses. It's not fair for you to invest in something, then out of a sudden everything just gets lost like that, and then there's nobody who's going to compensate. Elsewhere from Migori County also is that a 56-year-old man from Migori has started a 67-kilometer journey to advocate for injustices committed in the corridors of justice. George Chacha, a human rights advocate and of course a civic educator who hails from Kuria region, Migori, said that he has decided to take the bold step of walking from Migori to town to Kisii Law Courts a 67-kilometer journey to present his petition. In his petition, Chacha says that issues of delayed justice, favorism, and of course wrong judgment have rendered many Kenyans unable to find justice. The last hope that the majority of Kenyans see as their last defense in justice. Let's just have a look at Chacha, who is also a retired Air Force officer, said that justice in Kenya is apparently taking a direction toward the highest bidder rather than the scale of justice. Let's have a look at it, and of course what this man Chacha mentioned, and of course as he's starting a 67-kilometer journey from Migori to Kisii Law Courts.
za Kenya zimebadilika mahakama zetu. Eneo haya kupaza sauti, kupiga firimbi kwamba all is not well katika mahakama zetu. Mahakama za Kenya zinaendelea kudidimia. Mahakama za Kenya zimebadilishwa na kuwa minada ya kuuza haki, na sio haki bali ni makovu yakiwa katika mifuko ya haki. Niko katika safari ambayo, ama ninaenda kufanya safari kutoka hapa kuelekea mbali kilomita zaidi ya 76. Ni kwa ajili ninataka kupiga firimbi, ninataka kupaza sauti nikisema kwamba mahakama zetu zimegeuzwa. Our judiciary is being converted into a stock exchange market. Mambo maovu, masuala maovu yanatendeka katika mahakama zetu. Wazee wengi, familia nyingi zimepoteza ndoto zao. Ninakumbuka mzee mmoja kutoka Kehancha katika mahakama ya Migori, ni mzee wa zaidi ya miaka 86. Alilia, alipaza sauti na kumuita bwana jaji, na ninamnukuu mzee huyu: "Bwana jaji, umeninyang'anya, umenipokonya shamba langu na kumpa mtu asiyestahili. Bwana jaji, ninakuhakikishia kwamba kesho nitakuwa hapa na wewe utanihukumu kwa ajili ya mauaji. Nitaua, shamba langu halitaenda bure." Wapendwa, haya ndio mambo ambayo tunayokumbana nayo, kovu, maovu kotini. Na ndio maana nikasema kwamba acha nifanye safari isiyo ya kawaida. Umri wangu ni mkubwa mno. Kusafiri safari kwa miguu ya zaidi ya kilomita 76 si rahisi. My community Kenya, I love my country and I am ready to die for justice. I'm ready to die for change. I am making this.
All right, expecting that the man will arrive safely and of course deliver is of course what it terms to be his papers to the Kisii Law Courts, of course, to ensure that justice is served to the people who are having injustices in the corridors of the courts and of course in justice offices. Elsewhere is that the Club Foot Care for Kenya, CCK, and Migori County have partnered to address the rising cases of clubfoot among the infants in the county. Globally, out of 1,000 live births, one child is born with clubfoot, and in Kenya, the number of children born with the deformity is 2,000 annually. In Migori, about 40 children are born with the deformity yearly, with about 2 to 4 being treated at Migori County Referral Hospital each month. Isaac Mtua, an official from the Clubfoot Care for Kenya, said that they're establishing a clubfoot clinic in the county. Parents with children who have clubfoot deformity will get the necessary medical attention needed, as well as to reduce the financial burden of traveling to seek services in the other counties. Before then, clubfoot patients had been referred to Kisii Kisumu or Kendu Bay Adventist Hospital in Homa Bay for treatment, an expensive affair that the majority of parents could not manage. This led to the permanent disability in the children. Let's look at what the partnership entails about, and of course what they are talking about when it comes to the free clubfoot clinic running every Tuesday after 8 doctors were especially trained to help treat clubfoot alongside a trained counselor. Let's have a look at it.
Wanaozaliwa na clubfoot Kenya ni kama 2,000 kila mwaka, na hapa Migori peke yake kila mwaka kunazaliwa watoto zaidi ya 40, na hatujakuwa na clinic hapa tangu tuanze kurekebisha. Tumekuwa tukipanuka polepole. Letu ni shirika la msaada na tunaenda polepole kulingana na vile tunapata uwezo. Sasa tumepata uwezo wa kurekebisha watoto katika kaunti ya Migori. Hii wiki tumefunza madaktari 8 ambao watakuwa wakirekebisha clubfoot hapa kupitia kwa hiyo hospitali kila wiki ya Jumanne, na pia tumeweza kumfunza mshauri counselor ambaye atakuwa anajitolea kuja hapa kila Jumanne kuzungumza na wazazi wa watoto wanaorekebishwa clubfoot. Hii ni kaunti moja ambayo iko na watoto wengi wanaozaliwa na clubfoot na hatujaweza kuwafikia. Kwa muda wamekuwa wakikuja hapa, wanatumwa Kisii, wengine wanatumwa Homa Bay kule Kindu Adventist Hospital, wengine wanaenda hadi hata Kisumu. Sasa kutokea sasa kila mtoto anayezaliwa na clubfoot huku ataweza kuja hapa. Tutaweza kupeana plasta ambayo inahitajika kuwafunga wale watoto miguu, na hata wakirekebika baada ya wiki 6 hadi 8 tutakuwa tunapeana viatu maalum vya kudumisha marekebisho ambayo yamefanyika. Na haya ni tutaendelea wakati wowote ambao tuko na wafadhili. Tungependa kusema kama serikali ingekuwa na uwezo wa kupeana plasta, uwezo hata wa kuundisha hizi viatu maalum kupitia kwa departments za orthopedic, ingeweza kusaidia sana kuongezea ile tunaita sustainability katika marekebisho. Mtu yeyote ambaye ameona mtoto amezaliwa na clubfoot amlete ngali mdogo kabla hajafikisha miaka 2, atarekebishwa bila upasuaji na bila malipo. Ataweza tu kulipa ile ya kufungua faili hapa hospitali. Tunaomba pia serikali tusaidie wao wadogo sana wanaokuja kila siku, kama wanaweza kuondolewa hiyo gharama ili hata waweze kupata nauli ya kuja, waweze kumudu haya matibabu.
Someone has clubfoot, there are employment opportunities that they cannot do. They cannot be police officers, they cannot participate in sports, so it poses a challenge. That is why we want to identify it early and treat it early so that we can reduce this condition completely. Identify at the point of birth, the management goes up to 5 years, and then we say we have successfully managed clubfoot. Migori County, the incidents are still high. We receive, like in a month, you can find 2 children born with clubfoot or even 1. So the incidence rate is still high. Telling our people, the citizens, the residents of Migori County and its environs that we have clubfoot care clinic in Migori County Referral Hospital. All children who are born, newborns with clubfoot, bring them to Migori County Hospital. Even those ones who are identified late, maybe 2 years, 3 years, we still manage them. Even up to 18 years, we can still manage them, though now surgically. but club foot is treated.
From now, Migori to Kericho, where Senator Aaron Cheruiyot criticized Rigathi Gachagua after his Bomet visit, saying that Gachagua cannot claim to speak for the Kalenjin community, yet he opposed the appointment of the Kalenjin leaders when he served as the deputy president. Let's have a look on what Aaron Cheruiyot said.
Today, evaluation is ongoing for 3,000 affordable houses ambayo itajengwa katika kaunti hii yetu ya Kericho hapa katika Chelimo. Tunajua maneno ya barabara na mipango yetu yote vile tulikubaliana naye. Ile kitu sisi hatutaki ni mabroka ambayo wanataka kujitokeza. Nimemsikia mwingine ambaye tulifukuza kazi kule Senate, ati leo hapo pale Bomet anajifanya vile yeye anajua kutetea watu wetu. Wewe, wacha nikwambie wewe wa Munyoro, hata tukikosa watu wa kututetea, afadhali tukae bila, lakini wewe hakuna mtu unaweza tetea. Wewe tunajua tabia yako. You are a tribal and an evil man that can never defend anybody's interest. So stop pretending as if you want to remind the president of the things that he promised us. We know what was promised. We know what has been done. We know what is pending. We know when it will be done. Stop pretending as if you can speak on our behalf. Nobody has appointed you kujifanya ati vile wewe unajua kutetea. Wewe unatetea nani na tunakujua? Mchana na usiku umekuwa ukizungumza maneno mabaya. Kwanza kuhusu jamii yetu. Kila wakati ukisimama unasema William Ruto sijui amepanga Kalenjins wafanye nini na nini. Leo unageuka unajifanya mtetezi wetu. Kwenda huko na hiyo tumbo yako kubwa wewe.
Elsewhere to the corridors of parliament, that is the Senate Parliament on the County Public Account Committee. The senators serving in the CPAC, that is the County Public Accounts Committee, chaired by Moses Otieno Kajwang, publicly commended Kiambu Governor, county government for prudently utilizing devolved funds to directly benefit the residents. The recognition followed a strong accountability showing by Kiambu County, where Governor Kimani Wamatangi assured the Senate for his readiness to account for every shilling entrusted to his administration and to fully respond to all audit queries raised by the Auditor General. Let's have a look at it.
Kiambu has not known peace for a long time. And Governor, you are with us in the Senate. I think the last time Governor Waititu appeared before us, there were very interesting entries relating to expenditure in South Sudan and State House. And then when Governor Nyoro took over, he was defending the actions of the former governors. And I think we are in a very good space where we can now interrogate the work you have done. We are not interrogating the work of Nyoro, of Waititu, or of Kabogo. We are interrogating your work. And I wish we were ready to proceed, because we would have been very happy to find out if on-source revenue has grown by 2 billion over a period of 3 years, who used to pocket that money? You know, we need to find out. Because I don't think that you have levied additional taxes. I don't think that you are taxing Kiambu people more. Maybe it's just discipline in collection. We would have been very happy to find out who was pocketing the 2 billion that was not going to the people of Kiambu. And so, if the auditor is not ready to prosecute, then we cannot do fair justice to the people of Kiambu. We'll have to schedule another date.
Being a resident of Kiambu, by the fact that our bedrooms are in Kiambu, we are very interested in what is happening in Kiambu, and I can say that I'm impressed, and especially from the Kiambu on-source revenue growth. Chair, looking at it, that this governor, Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, has been able to almost double the collection of on-source revenue, and this has also been transferred to services rendered to residents of Kiambu, because from what we see from the hospitals he has been able to build, from the ECD classes, and Chair, I can confirm from the reports I have on my desk that he has been able to do over 512 ECD centers. In fact, we were waiting for him to confirm when me and my committee will join him for the opening ceremony of the last batch of ECD centers he has been able to do. So I want to congratulate him for that, and also thank him thank him for coming before this committee. The trend which we are seeing is worrying, but we believe most governors will reconsider their attitude towards this house and know that we are here not as competitors, but as a house to defend and support devolution. Thank you very much once again for appearing before this committee, and we look forward to engaging you in other committees also. Thank you.
I've looked at the report, and I'm seeing that in this year under consideration, that 211 ECD classrooms were procured for construction. I don't know how many were procured in the previous years. I don't have that record, but it could be in the upward of 500. So it means you are able to partake the role, the function that was devolved, that is ECD, and given its importance, the importance that it requires. Because most counties have relegated ECDs because it has to do with small children, they have relegated it to the periphery. But for me, as a person with a background of education, I know it's extremely important to take care of our children because their minds expand, their brains expand from between 2 and 7 years. So when I see this progress, now the other questions, if we're engaging, I would ask, so are they feeding? Okay. So are they getting enough materials for teaching and learning? And all the other things like health and so on. So apart from just engaging with the audit queries, we also need to learn what is happening in our counties so that if there's any policy hitch, if there's any legislative gap, we can be able to fill it. So when you go back to your colleagues, encourage them, talk to them, especially those who have not come through the Senate, because they might not be knowing the work that we do and the importance of the Senate in strengthening and protecting devolution. What surprises me is that there are some who have been senators, they have even been in this committee, and they're not able to come to these very important sessions. So I'd like to congratulate you. I know you have opportunity to have an in-depth interrogation of this report for the sake of the people of Kiambu. Thank you so much, Chair.
Give you. And Governor, I'm happy I can see well done. We wanted to test the eating in the pudding, Chair. And I'm keen. I am reliably informed that a number of more than close to 1,000 ECD centers have been done and others are continuing. We would want to visit, and I'm happy the Chair of Education is here. We are told that the feeding program, I remember when you appeared, is going on very well in Kiambu. I am impressed with your passion towards the health sector, Chair. I have ever seen this Kikuyu Level 4 Sub-County Hospital. I think there is one in Kahawa Sukari when I was going somewhere. And these are reminders that evolution is a success. Governor, ignore the noise, the political noise. Focus on serving the great people of Kiambu. Ignore the people who want to bring you down by even attacking your persona and your interest. Ignore them. Just focus on the people of Kiambu, what the people of Kiambu elected you. And we are proud, even I have seen your own source revenue. The CRE has projected, but I have seen there is a steady growth in own source revenue. So, Governor, we are very proud of what you are doing. And by the way, let me say this, Chair, with a lot of respect in conclusion. It is not our business to do any political witch hunt against any governor. It's not our business to embarrass any governor. Because what we share with Kenyans is what in their reports. So when a governor from Bungoma comes and brings a story of buying a Christmas tree of 3.6 million, it is not us. It's not the Public Accounts Committee, it's their own making. When a governor from Mandera buys 55.6 seedlings, yet it is a dry area, and he cannot account for it, it is not us. We are not sanctimonious to come and sanctify any government. Our business is to consider the responses that come with the government, with the responses from the. Finally, Chair, I'm happy the leadership have decided that we shall not do any kangaroo meeting with Council of Governors. First, Council of Governors is not a legal entity. It is not anchored in any law. It is a boys' club of professional gossip. that we should not even be discussing in this committee, because the issue of accountability, Governor, and I'm happy you have noted that, is individual.
Governor, you are a former colleague, so you are one of us. When things happen to you, it affects us, because you are our colleague. We also, what happened in the destruction of some property in Nairobi where you have an interest. And personally, as a former colleague of yours, I must say it's such a big shame that a government that is promising development and even dropping funny names would undertake such a thing at night. It's why would a government go to destroy private property at night? I mean, if there is a problem with whatever it is that's happening, take a court order, valid. If you have to destroy, destroy in broad daylight. The people see what you're doing. The Bible says the thief comes by night to kill, to destroy. And I think that's exactly what happened in the premises. The most unfortunate thing, as I conclude, the most unfortunate thing is that, Governor, you have colleagues in the executive who should have known better. Even if it was a must that they had to destroy that property, I would have expected a duty of care on the part of your brothers to even tell you, you know what, this decision has been made, it has to be done, get your property out. We are going to flatten this area. But for your colleagues to sit there, the CS Interior, Governor Nairobi, the Deputy President, knowing very well that your property is going to be destroyed, and no word to salvage at least something. Well, one day, the truth shall come out and justice shall be served. I thank you.
I want to be on record for...
All right, they say that whenever you try to do something good, it will be, of course, said and, of course, aired everywhere. And we wish to see other county governors being responsible from what they have been given by the national treasury, that is the national government, and utilizing every coin to show how it has been used in the county. Elsewhere, yesterday at Ekerenyo, during the United Opposition's visit to the Gusii tour for the 3-day, Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i was installed as the region's leader at Ekerenyo Grounds, Nyamira, as the spokesperson of Gusii community. Let's have a look on what happened in that Ekerenyo Grounds when he was being coronated and, of course, installed as the spokesperson of Gusii community.
Na Philip Ongeri na bubago konya na kumubekere yange ya Gusii litukolia lero mubekere bake ibunguo bia muja kereka bunguo ya kabere umechukua ile karatasi wapi sasa tunafu
Okay, Mheshimiwa President. On the next one, ekekobwatia nesumati igo mati omupongeri na nyakundi nchwango gaiga bakore. Okay, the next one ne ekeore ekeore tiga ngotona kiako egwa. Yes, yeah you are, Chairman. Give the explanation. Explanation, Chairman.
Elsewhere, as we move on almost to be rounding, of course, to be doing a roundup on a wrap-up on our morning buzz. Of course, yesterday, Gerald Gay, Senator, Senator Gerald Gay of Nandi County, applauded Governor Kimani Wamatangi for him leaving everything that was being said by the other Council of Governors, and of course, attending the County Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. Let's have a look on what Gerald Gay said when he was applauding the Governor Wamatangi for his attendance to the CPAC committee.
I had to leave Nandi yesterday very late to come and see if you will appear to account for the resources of Kiambu. Because the doomsayers of politics of Kiambu have made us believe that Governor Dr. Kimani Wamatangi is doing absolutely nothing on the ground, even to account. So the fact that you came with your team ready with the 3 reports to account for each and every shilling of the great people of Kiambu, Governor, you have done the great people of Kiambu proud, and they should be proud of you because you are willing to account for each and every shilling that this Senate appropriates. And Governor, we are happy also to note that, I saw the Finance and Budget Committee made the governors who want 534 billion to be allocated. But the question we normally ask, why is it that governors are more willing, more excited to come and lobby us for the increment in equitable share, but they don't want, a number of you don't want to come and account for? We should be fair to Kenyans. When being appropriated, you should be ready to take it, but when it comes to account the way you have done, you have to account for each and every money that we give you. And Governor, I'm happy I can see, well done. We wanted to test the eating in the pudding chair. And I'm keen, I am reliably informed that a number of more than close to 1,000 ECD centers have been done and others are continuing. We would want to visit, and I'm happy the Chair of Education is here. We are told that the feeding program, I remember when you appeared, is going on very well in Kiambu. I am impressed with your passion towards the health sector, Chair. I have ever seen this Kikuyu Level 4 Sub-County Hospital. I think there is one in Kahawa Sukari when I was going somewhere. And these are reminders that the evolution is a success. Governor, ignore the noise, the political noise. Focus on serving the great people of Kiambu. Ignore the people who want to bring you down by even attacking your persona and your interest. Ignore them. Just focus on the people of Kiambu, what the people of Kiambu elected you. And we are proud, even I have seen your own source revenue. The CRE has projected, but I have seen there is a steady growth in own source revenue. So, Governor, we are very proud of what you are doing. And by the way, let me say this, Chair, with a lot of respect in conclusion. It is not our business to do any political witch hunt against any governor. It's not our business to embarrass any governor. Because what we share with Kenyans is what in their reports. So when a governor from Bungoma comes and brings a story of buying a Christmas tree of 3.6 million, it is not us. It's not the Public Accounts Committee, it's their own making. When a governor from Mandera buys 55.6 seedlings, yet it is a dry area, and he cannot account for it, it is not us. We are not sanctimonious to come and sanctify any governor. Our business is to consider the responses that come with the with the responses from the. Finally, Chair, I'm happy the leadership have decided that we shall not do any kangaroo meeting with Council of Governors. First, Council of Governors is not a legal entity. It is not anchored in any law. It is a boys' club of professional gossip that we should not even be discussing in this committee, because the issue of accountability, Governor, and I'm happy you have noted that response, is individual. The COG does not exist anywhere in the law. It is just a team of, we normally see merry-go-round, chama ya mama, ile chama ya kupeana pesa over the weekend. That is the role of Council of, and I'm happy, Chair, that the leadership, the Bishop is here, and a number of us have confirmed, because we will be subverting the Constitution. The moment we come and say, instead of accounting, Let us do a kangaroo meeting before going for accounting and accountability. We would have failed a chair. Governor, we wish you well as you travel. I hope by Monday.
All right, that is Senator Cherargei of Nandi County applauding the governor for Kiambu County, that is Governor Wamatangi. Elsewhere, the Kenyan 2025 ethnic diversity audit reveals that 47.8% of the 46 communities have zero representation in top public positions in the country. Dominant groups are the Kikuyus, the Kalenjin, the Luos, Luyas, and the Kampas, which holds over 70% of the state corporation jobs. That is an audit reveal that showed 47.8% of the 46 communities have zero representation in top public positions. Elsewhere is that the Kenya has given traders a 7-day to clear Thika Superhighway reserves days after demolitions in Githurai. A section affected is Kihurunguro, Allsops, Delview, and that is board bounds. And of course, the move paves way for the construction of designated roadside stations to improve safety and ease congestion. And of course, non-compliance will trigger enforcement actions during that moment. And elsewhere, as I wrap up, is that the Auditor General has revealed that the mass rand grabbing in public universities with property valued at more than here and there. I can be able to see Charles Luanga, Mwalimu Charles Luanga from Nyamira County, Kenyere basement area, well tuned in Tuesday edition, loading up. Thank you so much. Saying that well done Nyaore, Sylvia Mora, Alavi Komboka, Jacqueline Komboka, and Ravari Misuko. They are tuned in and watching in DZTV Africa. What I say is thank you for joining and of course tuning in DZTV Africa this morning. As we move on, of course, there's a lot that we are going to follow up, and of course today being day 2 of the United Opposition's tour in Gusiland, as per the schedule that was given out, is that today they will be starting their tour from Nyamira County, that's Nyamira town, therefore head to Imarani in Kitutu Chache North, from there Nyakoe, Suneka, and then end it in Nyamarambe. And then tomorrow they will be starting from Ogembo, Kenyenya, Nyamache, and Masimba. And of course we'll be having quick updates, and of course we are being informed that there is a press up that is being given out any minute from now. We'll be bringing it to you for you to of course hear what the opposition and of course the United Opposition leaders are saying, led by Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa, DCP party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, Natembeya, and of course Kalonzo Musyoka, among other leaders that who are part of the brigade that is touring Gusii, as they are being hosted by Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Up to that moment, that is where I wrap it up for now. Let's meet again tomorrow morning to ensure that we are updating you on what's happening. And of course, don't forget to follow DZTV Africa, because we'll be giving you the updates of the happenings, more so the tour of the United Opposition in this region and other trending stories. Don't go too far. Continue following DZTV Africa on our social media platforms. That is in DZTV Africa on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course you can be able to talk to us via 21575. That is an SMS number. See you tomorrow. Have a lovely day and of course a very productive one. Bye bye for now.